Hi everyone, Carolina here from Creations Handmade. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to learn how to prime your burlap so you can use it to cut with your steel rule dies, some of your punches, your scissors for perfect clean cut without unraveling or fraying. As you see here, burlap in its normal state frays a lot and also tends to unravel. So we're going to learn how to prime it so we prevent that from happening. Here are the materials you're going to need. You can use any glue that dries clear, like Elmer's glue, Mod Podge, and any of that kind. And what we're going to do is we're going to apply our glue with our brush, applying a generous amount each time. Just make sure that you apply a generous amount because what we're looking for is for the glue to soak into the burlap. If you do it that way, you're not going to need to apply a coat of glue on the other side. So just make sure that you apply a generous amount each time so it sips through the burlap and it will prevent the need for an extra coat on the other side. Now that we're all done, our piece should look like this. And as you see, it's a little messy, but this is exactly what we're looking for. So now lay it flat to dry for several hours, and once it's dry, this is what it should look like. It stiffens and it's almost crunchy-like, but it's actually bendable. So it's a perfect consistency, and this is what we're looking for. Now I'm going to use two different dyes to make our first flower. One is Tattle Florals from Tim Holtz. The other one is Flowers Layer number 3. And I'm going to cut my piece of burlap so it fits through my cutting machine. And look at this perfectly clean cut. And it's because we prime our burlap. I love it. I'm going to run the dies through the machine and you're going to see what clean, perfect cut it gives us. It's just amazing. Look at that flower. Perfect cut, no fraying, no unraveling at all. And it reminds me of ice cream waffle. Look at this, how he cuts that circle perfectly. It's so clean. I really love using the burlap this way. And this piece here, we're not going to shape. We're going to leave it flat like that and use it at the end of our flower. And we can cut all throughout our burlap piece and have very minimal waste. Now I'm going to use a McGill set. It's a bold stylus that I'm going to use to shape our petals. And we're going to need also a foam piece. This is a stamping foam from Doris, I believe. I'm going to use hot glue. Make sure that you're very careful with hot glue. So we're going to start shaping our petals. I started grabbing it as a pen, but it's easier for me to work with it this way, and I work faster. So we use circular motions and look at the result. We're going to do this all over our petals, through all of them. And when we're done, we should have them look like this. Now we're going to turn our flower to the other side and work in the center with circular motion. And this is the shape we're looking for. Do that to the other flower shapes. And to the smaller one, I am going to snip a little bit in between each petal so I could shape it better. And after that, I'm going to start placing our flower shapes one on top of the other to form my flower. I'm not going to use all the shapes for this one. You're going to see here the ones I'm using. So the flat one, this is the one that we didn't work on. We're going to use for the bottom of our flower, and this is also going to fill the gaps in between the petals, so our flower will look fuller. So place all the shapes one on top of the other, and now we're going to start gluing it with our hot glue. Make sure that you're really careful when using a hot glue. You can get burned very easy, so be careful. I'm going to apply the hot glue over here, and then I'm going to place my shapes on top. And then I'm going to apply the glue to the last piece. This is the flat one. And I'm going to move my flower around just to place it wherever I like it so it fills my flower better. Now use your stylus or your brush to push in the middle and then shape your flower with your hands so it looks fuller. Isn't it gorgeous? I really love burlap flowers, and I love that it won't fray or unravel because we treated it, and now we have a perfect flower. And look at that flat back. It makes it easier for you to place it on any of your projects since it's flat. Now I'm going to use a button from a Dress It Up fancy grab bag. I bought this at Tuesday morning. I always snatch them when I see them. I love them for decorating my embellishments. And look at these beautiful flowers. I used the leftover pieces to make a couple more flowers using a little bit of fabric and some more buttons. Now I'm going to show you how to make your own flower without any dies. I'm using a Sharpie. This one is a thick one to draw my flower shapes, but you should use a thinner tip one so it doesn't show, but I wanted you to see it clearly. So I'm not very good at drawing, so please don't laugh at me. So just draw your shapes. I'm going to modify this shape here because I wanted to add more petals. And again, you should use a finer tip so it's easier for you to see the shape to cut it, but you don't leave a mark like this one. So look at how easy it is for scissors to cut through this burlap. And it's going to leave us a perfectly clean cut when we're done. Look at this. Doesn't it look like you cut it with a die? It's perfect. I love doing this. So cut the rest of your shapes and you'll see when you're done cutting and we shape our flower, we're going to be left with a flower that looks very similar to the one we made using our dies. So I'm finishing cutting the shapes here. Look at this, all clean, perfect. And as you see there's some crystallization of the glue. It leaves some crystal-like dry areas. If that happens to you, just use a baby wipe or a moisted napkin or cloth to wipe it off. It actually doesn't happen all the time. I don't remember which glue I use for this piece. I make several of them and I just store them and keep them away for future use. And here I'm going to show you we can cut any shapes with this burlap. I'm going to make a tag and you'll see how clean it will look. I snip one of the corners and I use that same piece to guide the other corner so I have an even cut. And look at this! Perfect! Clean, and this will be beautiful to decorate your projects. Now I'm going to show you can also cut small shapes. I'm making a heart here. I'm cutting one side and then I'm folding it over as you see here. And that way I would have an evenly cut heart. I learned this from a friend and I thought it was genius. Any shape that you had to cut two sides the same, you can do this. You can start with one side, fold it over, and then cut it so it would give you an even shape. Now I'm going to show you, you don't need your stylus to do this. You can also use the end of a brush as the one I'm going to be using here. Just make sure that the bottom of the brush is round and you will get the same result. I hope my video is helpful and look at our gorgeous flowers. If you like my video, don't forget, click the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you back here soon for another video. Bye bye.